Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined as always by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. We are diving into Hawks Sixers, pivotal game 3 in this second round matchup. Nate, we'll jump into all of that. If you do still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to fdpicks.com or dkpicks.com. Find all the listings in your area and those NBA playoff promos. If you do need, if you're still not liked and subscribed to the page, make sure you do so. Jump in the comments. We had a gift card winner on the total of that Suns Nuggets game, 221. Hit the under, as we both called. Just a quick side note. So Justin Liu will get that gift card out to you and have another one available for you guys here in just a moment. But let's jump into that game, Nate, and everything for game 3.
Yeah, so the Sixers, as predicted on this program, led from wire to wire in game 2, came out with no nonsense, handled business. Now we shift to Atlanta, where the Hawks have been fantastic, have not lost at home since April, I believe. So they are only plus 1.5 as the home team, even money on the money line, and the total sits at 223.5 at the moment. It's interesting to note that the biggest thing with the Sixers is they are much lower scoring on the road. You've been talking about this all year, Josh, is that, the points per game drops from 118 to 110 for them. And defensively, they were still third in defensive rating all regular season. They're the second best playoff team on the road in defensive rating. That's only 2 road games so far. But they had a really impressive showing defensively in game 2. Ben Simmons said, I'm not even going to play offense, had 4 points, took 3 shots. He just focused on slowing down Trae Young and pretty much held him in check. Since his first half eruption in game 1. So, what I'm looking for, I think 223, I think we can go under there again. With these teams both playing excellent defense. As I mentioned with the Hawks, they've just been fantastic at home. The number 2 offensive rating, net rating, 5th in defense, 5th in rebound percentage. They will be a little bit better on that end of the floor. However, they are going to be without DeAndre Hunter now the rest of the postseason. Defensive rating jumps 5 points without him, from 110 to 115. I think they got used to playing without him, though, in the middle of the season. Once Nate McMillan took over, their defense was still fantastic, whether Hunter was in or out of the lineup. He's not necessarily the most critical guy for this matchup. Clint Capella is, in terms of limiting Embiid. So I still think the Hawks can play good enough defense to keep this under. But I don't think that their recent home success is enough for me to believe that they can beat this Sixers team. If Embiid's going to play like the MVP that he is, barring injury, he would have won MVP. I don't think that they're going to be able to stop the Sixers. So I would look at Sixers to cover that tiny little spread and go under at plus 265 on DraftKings. Get you a nice little double if that both pays off.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you while disagreeing with you, I think. Mostly, Clint Capella has no shot against Joel Embiid. He showed that at the end of game 1. And then in game 2, my particular favorite moment was when Capella caught a really nice lob and put it down kind of over Embiid. And then on the very next play, Embiid throws his shoulder into Capella, sends him flying, and then dunks on him and just stares at him the entire way down back to the other end of the court. And I think that's pretty emblematic of, I think, what we can continue to expect in this series. Capella was a minus 25 when he was on the floor against Embiid in 28 minutes. So it was not a good showing for him in game 2. And then, look, you said it, Ben Simmons found his, the way to sort of justify his lack of offense by being the person to spend the most time guarding Trae. The amount of time he spent on Trae in game 1 was about half of what he did in game 2. And then Matisse Thybulle also spent the rest of the time, as we mentioned, no Danny Green guarding Trae Young, which led to him going 1 of 7 from 3. He did have 21 points, not enough for him if they're going to win. 11 assists was really nice as he got guys like Herter and Gallinari involved who, combined for 41 in that game. But I do think what I'm expecting predicting in game 3 with all of that said is the thing we can rely on is that Trae Young will be hounded no matter what, and they're going to have to rely on other guys. And that Clint Capella cannot guard Joel Embiid in a one-on-one matchup at any given time. To me, it's interesting that they haven't decided to treat him the way of Julius Randle, keep somebody on him and then have the second defender ready to go. Obviously, the Knicks had nothing else for them on offense. So that's not the case here with shooters like Seth Curry and Danny Green and obviously Tobias around to be able to take pressure off of Embiid down low. But I would make somebody else beat you. If Embiid's going to score 32.5 points like his prop is tonight on DraftKings, I'm still going to take the over until somebody shows me they can do anything with him. And that's going to have to be in the way of a second defender, like I said tonight. So I do like the idea of Philly's points, 1.5. Look, Atlanta's 13-0 in their last 13 home games, right? They've won the last 13. And then as, underdogs at home as well, they've won or at least 5-2 against the spread in that time frame. So they do come to play at home, as we've mentioned. But interestingly enough, last thing about Philly there, they were the second best team on the road in terms of their record this year. And we've always, touted them as the home team. So despite not scoring on the road, they are locking up on D.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's to my point. And what you said about Trae, or really about Kevin Huerter, reminded me of a great prop on Trae. Those 11 assists, a bit of an anomaly. The assists lie sometimes. I mean, Kevin Huerter hit his first 6 shots, I think. And how many of those tallied up Trae's assists? Yep. You can get the under on him averaging 10 assists per game in this series right now, minus 115. As the Sixers continue to blitz him, get the ball out of his hands, it's almost impossible to get an assist. Ask Steph Curry about that, right? You get the assist before the assist, but you're not going to log many if you're getting blitzed out 30 feet from the hoop. But yeah, I mean, I think our trend talking about is just Embiid dominating. I like also 46.5 points, rebounds, assists, more so than just the straight points, because I think he will rack up boards. And the Hawks just they don't have an answer because Clint Capella was the help defender on Randle, right? It's like, who are you going to get that's big enough to help onto Embiid? Yeah, he's too skinny. Everybody else too little. The Hawks had a 102 defensive rating to dispatch your Knicks, and they have a 119 defensive rating in these 2 games against Philly, and that's pretty much all about Embiid. As I've said, I expect the Sixers to roll after dropping game 1. I still think you can get them minus 1.5 on the series spread. I think they will wrap this up in 5 or 6 games, and I just don't think that the Hawks, despite their lovely regular season success, are going to have enough fight in them to pull these out at home.
Yeah. A couple other quick things. I do think DeAndre Hunter is a little bit of will be missed as we mentioned him. Like at the very least, he also seemed to be ready for the moment on offense, which was something that he was showing in that series against the Knicks. So he will be missed, but I will also say, Seth Curry, we've been talking about him since the first game of Philadelphia that they played this season, where we made a video about it. And he was a huge pickup. Obviously, Danny Green really nice as well. But Seth Curry's ability to do things slightly off the dribble as well is very underrated, just like his brother, to be honest. Nowhere near that. But he's definitely become Steph Curry light. If you continue to find his props, as I've targeted them in the first 2 games and got the over on both of those easily. First game was 13. Second game was 14.5. Went over nicely on both of those. He's in the double digits by halftime in both games. So if you see that around 15, even 16 points, I think you continue to feel good about him as a primary shooter and oftentimes ball handler in the second unit there.
Yeah, and that brings us to like the Sixers backcourt depth, which is basically the story of game 2. The bench sealed that game. Shake Milton, right? Going on a 14-0 run in the third and fourth quarter. And you brought up that the Hawks have something like a 59 offensive rating when Trae sits. Yeah. Or at least when he's tired. The Sixers, they just have so many more waves in terms of their backcourt depth to come at the Hawks. Now without Hunter, I think you definitely have to like their chances to take control of the series.
Absolutely. And I made everybody wait for the entirety of the video before I'm offering that gift card prop. So make sure you are liked and subscribed to the page to be eligible to jump in the comments. Let us know the combined total points scored by Joel Embiid and Trae Young in Game 3. Looking for the superstars to put up some points there. So let us know the combined totals of their points for Game 3. Jump in the comments, let us know. And you do need to be liked and subscribed to the page to be eligible. We'll call it a video with that, Nate. A lot of fun things to look at in this game. And we will be back looking at another Game 3 matchup here for you guys shortly. And until then, happy betting.